And again, other agencies. I always tell people the network is the best thing that you could have to get information and to get help. But the one thing I will also say is, if you are now in that leadership position, they must have seen something in you. And if they saw something in you, you have to now see it.
Hey there, my name's Ashley Church.
And I'm Erin West.
We were once newly promoted crime scene and latent print supervisors on mutual struggle buses as we both simultaneously tried to navigate through the challenges within our forensic units.
Now we run a business where we create tools and resources that we wish we had had to make these transitions easier. We like to talk about the experiences we've had in the forensic field, the good, the bad, and the ugly, in the hopes to create awareness around these issues and move the needle forward to create positive change in the forensic community.
So if you're a forensic professional, regardless of your years of experience, who's not afraid to dive into real, raw, and sometimes uncomfortable topics, you're in the right place.
This is the Forensics Unfiltered podcast.
Hey, thanks for joining us. We are so excited to have you back here for part 2 of our conversation with the amazing, the wonderful Coach Lisa from No Nonsense Training Solutions. Now, I hope you have been enjoying this conversation so far and getting as much out of it as we have. We always love talking to Coach Lisa. As I mentioned last week, it feels like a pep talk with your favorite coach. But quick heads up, if you haven't listened to part 1 yet, do yourself a favor, hit pause on this episode real quick, go back and check out part 1, then come back to this episode when you're ready. Trust us, you won't want to miss all of the great insights and golden nuggets of wisdom that Coach Lisa has shared in the first half of this episode. All right, if you are still listening, I'm going to assume that you are all caught up. So let's go ahead and jump back in and keep this leadership conversation rolling.
You talked about how some agencies are making that cultural change, right? So they're trying to even just change the verbiage that they use, what title they give their employees. So let's not call them civilians, let's call them something else. So what cultural or structural changes do you think forensics units need to make to develop stronger leaders?
I think that the first thing is that they need to understand that leadership is important to every single department in that organization, because literally everything, and I heard it in a quote in a book, everything rises and falls on leadership. And so if you're going to really have a department or an area in forensics that's going to be accountable, where people are willing to be accountable, responsible, and make sure that the department is covered, you have to have leadership. You have to. And so I don't know if there's a way, because I don't always understand the ins and the outs, but I do know that there are sometimes professional staff positions that are equal to like a major. And sometimes that happens, and sometimes that major has the influence or the ear of the higher ups. That's very key. And if forensics is really looking to, I'm going to say, to even draw and keep the right people, it's going to take the right kind of leadership. I would really encourage more training, but make sure it's training that's really conducive to not just the same thing we've always done. I would even say, I hope I'm answering the question, but sometime instead of the manager doing the training, I'll start assigning people to do the training. I'm going to see how they put it together and how well they can draw people in. All of that to me is a way to train the next person. Because I've been talking more about succession planning. Mm-hmm. And I tried to talk succession planning 20 years ago. Nobody listened to me in law enforcement. Nobody listened. And now we're here. Because literally a good succession plan, not replacement. There's succession planning and there's replacement planning. Okay, replacement planning happens a lot. And it's just like, who's the next person? Put them here. So you'll find that like with small cities or family businesses. So it's somebody's son, they become the next one, and they're horrible. They're horrible, they're corrupt, they break the business, things like that. But succession planning takes a while. If you have a department of 20 in forensics, and I listen to what people say. If someone expresses I want to be a supervisor one day, I want to be right there. I'm going to start training. That's all you got. See, and we have to get the technicians or the crim, whoever the manager may be, to hear that in the performance review. If you do those, so where do you see yourself in the next 2 to 3 years or 5 years? I'd like to be a supervisor. Okay, really? So I want you to take some classes and just see if they will take the initiative. Don't do the classes for them. Say, well, here are the classes I think you could take. Go research them and come back. You see what I'm doing?
And I think these skills, even if they're not a leader, even if they're not going to be in a leadership role for a while, they can still apply all of these skills, all these conflict resolution skills, all of these leadership skills. Like, we had Coach Lisa come last year, and we sent all of our supervisors, and then we sent the next person that was already kind of in a leadership role. So they were a trainer, they were kind of a lead, a senior person on the team, all of that. So all of our supervisors went, and one senior person from each unit went. Well, this time she's coming back again. We've sent all of our leadership. So we reached out to each unit and we were like, okay, who else is interested in a leadership class? And we had several people in the units that were not interested at all. And we had one from each unit that was like, I would really like to go. So now we sent them. So now she's going to have the next class that she's coming to us. She's going to have some of our baby fresh, like, potential future leaders in there.
Exactly.
And even if there's not a role for them to step into for a while, all these skills are still going to benefit the team. But we even had to almost kind of fight our chain of command a little bit about it. Because when we sent up their training request, they were like, well, they're not supervisors, like, well, we're planning out into the future.
There's one cultural thing that you spoke just so briefly on it, but I want to kind of circle back to it because I think there's more to unpack for a lot of forensic units, is the importance of building that relationship with whoever is your superior. So if you have a sworn supervisor above you, like, that relationship is so vital to your success and, like, getting things done and things approved and support for your forensic unit. And I will admit just how the culture was in the forensic unit. So it's predominantly women. Okay.
Yep.
And they're in a paramilitary structure, and just to get respected, to feel heard, to fight for the science or the victims, trying to do your job correctly. And there's other people trying to influence you, like, you don't need to do that, or I want you to collect this for no reason, or whatever. The culture was very much like, we would have to buck up, we would have to basically, we call it getting into that bitch mode to get respect. And admittedly, whenever I was promoted, I kind of brought some of that angst, and we had burned so many bridges. And I think, some people in forensics thinks they need to continue doing that in order to get respect and get stuff for your unit. But I think in the long term, it's just going to hurt you. It's one of those things that I think we could do things differently.
You're absolutely right. Actually, we talk about that in the class. And can I tell you, it's not just forensics. I've seen that on the sworn side too, because it's that male dominated thing. And remember, Erin, the first thing I said was, I told the ladies, I said, first of all, ladies, we're not men, and we don't need to act like that. What we have that men don't have is that we have the ability to influence, but it's understanding timing, and it's understanding a lot of things, and it's being willing to step back and say, you know what, let me circle again. Because everything about our no nonsense classes is about wisdom and strategy. Pay attention to what I said. Megan, you listen to me? Are you listening to me, Megan? It's about being very strategic and looking at everything from it's a chessboard. And there are a lot of moves going on. There's a lot of plays being made. And so imagine now, I am a female coming in from the outside, have no ties to anything in law enforcement, but now I'm in. What I learned early on when I was in corporate, I had coaches that I didn't know they were coaching me, and they were all white men. I'm saying it because it was just interesting, but they were so mean. They seemed to be just so, they were just mean and just giving me a hard time and seeming to, and I asked one day, I said, can I ask you something? He said, sure. I said, how does a woman make it in a man's world? This was years ago. He says, what do you mean? I said, as a female, how do we make it in corporate America or any environment where it's male dominant? He said, that's easy. Know your stuff. He said, and when people stand up to you, he said, know how to push back, but just don't put all that emotion in it. What? Really? And now I see later, they were preparing me unknowingly to step into law enforcement because what's that environment? And I'm telling you, on the professional staff side and everything, you all are tough. All sides, forensics, you all are not easy to be talking to. I promise you. But because I like challenge, it's just good for me. So one of the things I learned, there are men out there that are willing to really help us. But when we're in that fight mode, like you said, Ashley, we'll fight everybody. But there are men that will really give you wisdom, say, hey, don't ask the major this right now. No, I need him to hear it now. And he's like, I'm trying to tell you, they just came out of a budget meeting and he's gonna smack you. Oh, okay. So just give it a few days and let me feel him out. I've had people do that for me. I'm like, okay. And then they put a bug in and all of a sudden I'm having a meeting. And even when and then I understand once I get in, I got to sell it. But I will do intel on people in a minute. Y'all hear me? I'm going to find out. Yeah. They like email better. We'll email it. They want a phone call. We'll do it. You want in person? Let's go. You only want to do is I'm going to whatever. And I'll always say, I just need 15 minutes and I do it in 10. And all of a sudden then you get men that will really help you. I promise you. But I've seen a lot of women, you're absolutely right. I've seen a lot of women in this field. They get very tough, very hard, and everything is defensive. Erin, remember, we talked about the difference between strong women, and women of strength. That. Oh, I remember the first time I did that, I said, there's a difference, and strong women can be very detrimental. Oh, so many of them in my very first class at Broward College, these women down here in the South Florida area, they're ready to fight everybody, right? Okay, not all of them. But in that class, it triggered something. I said, before you get angry, I need to explain because I was that strong woman. But what was going on under there had a lot to do with in my personal life and things going on. But I felt like anybody step up to me, I'll fight you and your mama and your daddy. You bring it over here today. I got something for you. But it wasn't the way to resolve the conflict. And so I was making it harder, being defensive, argumentative about things I didn't have to argue, as opposed to, let me just be quiet and listen. Let me hear what they didn't say. Did you see that?
100% like Ashley. When I was younger in my career in law enforcement, I was the same way. That I'll fight all of you. I'll die on this hill. And then I realized that dying on every hill really wasn't benefiting me.
We can't keep resurrecting you, ma'am. Yeah. We can't.
So I have absolutely found over time that being collaborative benefits my unit so much more than fighting all those fights. And I can't remember what it is now, but you said something in class. You did one of your summit classes. We talked about it, but leverage. It was leverage. Yeah, that's what it was. You said leverage in class, like you have leverage, and the way that she explained it about how you can get things done if you build these relationships with all these people at your department. Like, I'll give you something, maybe someday you'll give me something. Like, we're gonna build, and I always keep my ears open. Like, what's going on? Who's in a good mood? Who's in a bad mood? Who's got whatever? And I always have things ready. Like, if the moment arises, I'm ready. If the opportunity opens up, I'm ready. And she talked about it being leverage, and I was like, that is what it is. It took me years to hone that skill, but I was like, that is what that is. Was so
And
good.
that's on emotional intelligence too.
That's it. And it ties right to it. It
Yeah.
ties right to it. But the thing about it is, see, and to me, that's wisdom and a strategy. And so if I can show any leader, because I haven't talked to it in the co-ed class yet. I think I may add it. But when we walk in every day, there is a game in play. And I know about, oh, I don't play political games. Yeah, you do. Every time you show up, you're in a political environment. You do know you have a sheriff. If this is a sheriff's office, like elected official, it means politics. But politics goes on in families. If politics just simply means the things we do to get things done for ourselves and the organization. So if I can help you see where you have leverage or where you might have burned some bridges because you're so angry. Some people are carrying grudges. Let me tell you something, and that's a big one.
Have you heard about The Vault? It's the first ever membership exclusively for forensic training, and we have packed it full of goodies. So get this. You get instant access to over 20 webinar replays on everything from landing a job in forensics to field training to supervision. But that's not all. We're also throwing in some of our top e-courses, our Field Training Officer Virtual Academy, and exclusive Forensic Supervisor Success kits from past virtual summits. And guess what? You get everything mentioned for just $29 a month, or you can grab a whole year for only $300. And we know many forensic professionals lately are paying for their own training, so we want to make sure training is affordable and accessible for everyone. There is fresh content every month, and that also makes it an endless learning opportunity for you. So it's a no-brainer. Join the Vault today and be part of the forensic education revolution. I'll include the link in our show notes, or you can head to our website to learn more. Don't miss out. Unlock your potential with the Vault.
Some people are carrying grudges. Let me tell you something, and that's a big one. And see, those are the things I talk about. I believe that other leadership, they don't talk about that, but I have to do that because that's what keeps people back. So you got some people that are angry with someone for 10 years ago, but now this person's gotten promoted like 2 or 3 times, and now you report to them. And now you're being disrespectful or underhandedly, you're borderline insubordinate, and you wonder why you can't get promoted. Could it be possible that you're damaging your leverage? You could be really great, but you've damaged it with them. And some people have really caught on to that, and several have gone and made it right with people. And they've seen the shift. All of a sudden, they're like, wow, it's really interesting. But you all are in a tough environment already. A lot of times people are simply out for themselves. You don't always know who you can trust and who you don't trust. I tell people all the time, be careful what you say, because it might come back, because you don't know who knows who in here. It's just all those kinds of things. But the biggest thing I could tell women, going back to it, emotional intelligence. And I've been doing a teaching on just self-awareness. People think they're wonderful. You give yourself a 5 and your team is giving you a 1.5. There's a gap. There's a misinterpretation somewhere, and we got to close that gap. So I said, when I use the emotional intelligence assessment, that one really hits people the hardest, because it shows them where they really need to come up. And I'll just say this, and I'll stop. In mine, the numbers are really great, but in self-regulation, that's like my lowest number. It's not like low pass. But it said something in there, and I laughed out loud because it was so true. It said, Lisa has the ability to bring herself out of a bad attitude, but she may choose not to. I was like, yeah, because I don't want to be. I want to be mad. I want to be mad with everybody. So I'm going to be mad for another 15 minutes. And it read that. I'm like, oh, I could bring myself out, but I choose not to. But I know how to mask it. But the problem is my blood pressure is through the roof. I had somebody literally a few days ago, they took assessment like, this is not me. And it was just a disc. I don't agree with it. I'm like, well, what don't you agree? This makes me look mean and aggressive. So
and you don't
I want you to understand, her whole tone was mean and aggressive, right?
Yeah.
And the class is looking at her like, They're just laughing. It was funny because I think what she was just struggling with was just what she thought were really rough words. But when we looked at it again, she says, okay, that makes sense. It's that initial, but with the emotional intelligence, it's reading something very different. Harvard did a study years ago that said a leader that had high IQ but low EQ did not do as well as a leader with high EQ and low IQ. Meaning, I can go if my EQ is well enough, I can go lead people and not even know their job, but I have the ability to get them to help me. Whereas the high IQ is just coming with all this theoretical head knowledge, and they don't know how to connect to people. It's about connecting to people and having common sense.
So is there anything else that forensic professionals could do to take ownership of leadership development, even if their agency doesn't provide formal training or maybe won't approve them to go to a Coach Lisa class?
Look, there is so much stuff online. There is no excuse anymore for anybody. You can go to YouTube and learn how to build a whole darn car. I'm not. So there's and they do like the little clip. They could go, they could do YouTube. Now, I will tell you, I have had some, and that's what I call those, they're instructed / innate leaders. They got denied. They went into their own pocket and they took their own time to come. And they had never been to any of my classes, but they wanted to come because they thought it was interesting. It was the first women's class. And after that, they took it back to their agency and it just blew up. That's Orange County Corrections. So what I would tell you is, there's so many free things online. There are assessments you can take online. They'll let you like sample an assessment, take it. And then I would encourage them to do is then find someone that can walk them through it. I have no problem walking people through things here and there. But the best thing is, if I'm developing a leader, I'll give 3 topics. I'll say, okay, Ashley, I want you to look up effective communication, in particular on, listening skills and giving appropriate feedback. I'll just give an assignment, and then I'm going to step back and I'm going to see what you do.
You know, my captain, I have seen her do this several times where she gives someone a leadership book to read, and she'll be like, this is one of my favorite books, read this book. And when you finish it, like, we'll sit down and go through it. You know how many people I've seen her give a book to that have actually read the book? Like, I don't think I've ever seen anyone finish the book. And she really would sit there and like go through those things with her. She's testing people.
I've done that with my own books. Here, read, and I'm putting. I'm not. You don't have to buy it. I'm gonna give it to you. Let's talk about it. They never get back to me, and if they do get back, it's another complaint. So then when they start, I said, "Well, did you read the book?" Well, yeah, I didn't have time. Okay, so go back and read the book because I'm not going to talk to you right now. I'm not going to hear this right now because the answer that you need is in that book. He who leads reads.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Leaders
You
are
gotta help yourself. What they're doing is like, oh, I don't want to put that effort in. That's a lot of effort. So you just give me the answer. It's like, no.
And see, that's what happens a lot in public safety on all sides. So we tell, but we never step back and say, okay, this is what I need you to do. All of that is part of training a leader. My coach does it all the time. He'll give an assignment and he'll start even with somebody. He'll start with somebody, hey, research this for me and then get back with me. So what he's doing, and I learned it early, this is a test. This is a test. I'm going to do it like right now because I want to get it done and I'm going to get back to him. It's called follow up, follow through, report back. That's my mantra now. Because I'm not going to chase you. But then when you come back later and you see, so now I'm promoting Ashley, I'm reporting Megan, I'm reporting Aaron, but here comes Susie. Well, I'm not getting promoted. Well, I gave you 4 assignments. I haven't seen one yet. Well, that's not fair. And we talk about fairness. Well, no, there's no such thing as fairness here. I gave you an assignment. Did you complete it?
Yep. I love that. I feel like we have to do another shameless plug for the summit here.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Yeah, if you want some free leadership training, if you guys have not been to the Forensic Supervisor Success Summit, we do it every year in September. We'll be doing it again this year, We do a variety of leadership topics. Every year we have a core topic that we focus on. I want to say last year was all conflict resolution, and it's free, guys. We
Wait,
put
I was
it
going to back and
on-
say, that's what I want to say. I said, did you say free? See, if people don't come for that, then what else do you do?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
And that
So,
summit is great because that you get different perspectives and somebody will speak exactly to what you're going through. Free, y'all, free.
Yep. Absolutely. We think about that every year too, because we have such a wide range of speakers, and sometimes we'll put a presentation together with them and we'll be like, oh, I don't know if they'll, how much interest there'll be for this topic. And someone is always like, that was the best topic ever. It spoke to my soul.
Wow.
We're like, okay, like obviously we got a little bit for everybody out there. So come join us in September.
September. I'll be there.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Megan highly recommends. Thanks, Megan.
This was great. This was so great.
Yeah. So before we wrap up this most fabulous chat, what's one piece of advice that you would give to a forensic professional that just got promoted? Maybe they're struggling a little bit in their role. What's a nugget of advice that you would give them?
The nugget of advice I would give them, and I'm not saying it just because you're guys, but Gap Science is one of the tools that you can use. They have information that can help you. They have this whole treasure trove, if you will, of information that they can walk you through. It's always good when you come to these or attend summits or go to places, build your network. Build your network. Reach out to other people in other departments that have a forensics team, maybe the size of your department or a sheriff's office, and just start making connections, ask questions. That's another way of building the leverage, because they may have that answer that you need and you don't have to dig far, but reach out for help, but go to the right people. Sometimes they're not inside of your agency. Sometimes they're outside of. So Gap Science is a great place. And again, other agencies. I always tell people the network is the best thing that you could have to get information and to get help. But the one thing I will also say is, if you are now in that leadership position, they must have seen something in you. And if they saw something in you, you have to now see it. And we call it schooling the gift in you. You have to school the gift. And the way you school the gift is to learn everything you can. And the biggest thing is learn how to engage with people. If you're uncomfortable with conflict, that's where you need to study. If you're uncomfortable with just communicating with people because you may be more introverted, you need to work on being more assertive. There are things out there that will teach you how to be assertive. And assertive only means, you're communicating your needs and your wants in a mutual, respectful manner. So if you're in that position, they saw something in you. And what I want you to do is understand your value, understand what you bring, and don't let anybody intimidate you out of that. Don't let them trigger you to be reactive. Learn how to respond. Get to a network and come to a Coach Lisa class or a Gap Science Summit. There you go.
Aw. I'm honored that we're in that little gold nugget at the end. Thank you, Coach Lisa.
I'm so excited to be in partnership with you guys, and that's what it is to me. I am so honored. I'm just so happy to be here because, again, you guys pour into me. Erin's helped me just through some times where I didn't know what I was doing. And she says, okay, Coach, she says, but we'll help you. And she just said it so calmly. And then here comes Ashley. Oh, okay, we got it. I'm like, boy, I like people like this. So what you're doing for me is what I do for other people, and I just don't realize it. That makes sense?
Oh yeah, you pour into us without even realizing it.
And it's hard for me to ask for help. And that was another thing. Don't let that get in your way to ask for help. Ask for help.
Yeah.
Ask for help.
Absolutely. So I know we have Megan here with us. So Megan, if you have any questions for Coach Lisa, if you want to drop them in the chat while Coach Lisa is telling everybody, if they want to connect with you and learn more about No Nonsense Training Solutions, where can they find you? How can they reach you?
Well, you can find me via our website, and it is all of that no-nonsense-training-solutions.com. I would like to also do more free content, and it's going to be through a lunch and learn perspective. Well, like lunch and learn time. Everybody bring your lunch, bring your breakfast, wherever you are. And so we'll have to brainstorm one day. And Megan, you can brainstorm with us, what is it that people would want to know? And of course, it's going to be a very broad audience because I have a lot of sworn coming in. We have a lot of forensic. I think we have some city agencies, a couple of city managers going to join. That's going to be interesting.
I'll definitely make sure to include all of the links below for your website where they can reach you and any of these free things coming up. But thank you so much, Coach Lisa. We love having you. We love this conversation. We can't wait for the next one. And until next time, stay safe out there.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
All right.
That was awesome.
Thank you so much for being here and listening to Forensics Unfiltered. If you liked this episode, would you do us a favor and leave a review letting us know specifically what you liked about this topic? It will only take a minute, but it will really help us plan future episodes so we can bring you more topics that you want to listen to. We'll be sure to provide any links from today's episode in our show notes on our website. Head to www.gapscience.com. Until next time, stay safe out there.